Good morning, everybody. I'm going to be doing a short show today because I got to go head out before noon and do a couple of errands. I'm looking at my list for today. I have a number of things that, of course, people need me to do at 11 o'clock. So it's one of those things where I'm going to have to leave early and do that. But we are going to at least do our warm-ups for the day. So if you want to join me for warm-ups, let's go ahead and head over to the desk and we'll do some warm-ups and get all loose and limber for all of you people who are going to be drawing at home. So we'll go ahead and get started, do our warm-ups and stuff. So let's go ahead and switch over to the other camera. There we go. Head over to the other camera. We're going to do a couple of things on our warm-ups today that we haven't done before. Need to grab a piece of paper. Grab a piece of paper. I had a couple of people ask me about paper and what paper I use. I just use normal copy paper. Just normal Joe Blow copy paper. So let's go on ahead and grab ourselves a normal sheet of copy paper. We'll move over to our desk. Set ourselves up here. Look at us set up. Okay. And again, we just use a normal ruler, right? Just this guy right there, just a normal, average, everyday ruler. We'll do a couple of long lines up here. I'm actually going to do something new today, so we're going to do a line right here, and a line right here. We're going to do a couple of short lines up here at the top, just so we practice these lines. We want to make sure we've got as many good practices in as possible. All right. And again, if you want to, we could also put in these little guys here too, which, just take your normal, everyday run-of-the-mill from the store compass. Let's do this. A couple of half circles for this. Get this in. We'll start over here on this side, and then we'll do the new thing over here. Now, one of the things that we're practicing for here, not just keeping our elbow loose and keeping our shoulder and drawing from the shoulder, the other thing we're trying to practice here is one line. This has got to be one consistent line. So you start here, and you want one line, like that. You don't want to be doing like this, right? Because it looks like hair. But we also don't want to try to do this, the sketchy thing. This is that sketchy thing that a lot of artists do, where they do that kind of thing. You don't want to do that. One line. We're trying to practice. Put the dot here and drag one line, and get used to the one line. Okay. I'm going to do this. Now before we did 8 of them, but today I want to do a smaller amount. Now here's the other thing. If you want to do something like blades of grass or hair, one of the things that a lot of artists do is up and then back. I'm not the only one. You're not the. If you do this, you're not the only one. But that leaves this. See a little like ball right here at the end, up and then back. It leaves a ball. And so we need to work on practicing things like going up and out and then coming back. And being accurate enough not to get this cross out there. Up and that. So you get this cross out there. You want to be up and somehow come back without bumping over. And so this is part of the next part of this exercise. One, come in, then up, and then back. Then up, and then back. Then up, and then back. It's okay if your wrist lands on the table for this, because these are small strokes. We're not doing something large like this. We're doing small strokes. Up and back, and up and back, and up and back, and up and then back, up, like this. And just keep going. If you didn't hit it right, just keep going. Keep going. You will. Right? You see what I'm doing here? I'm just going up and then back. Up and then back. Up and then back. Up and back. That's all we're doing. And ultimately, we want it to look, like you've gone along the line here, and then we went up, and then back, and then up, and then back, and everything stays perfectly on the line. That'd be great. But we're not going to do that right away. It's not the way this is going to start, and we know that. Hello! Welcome to the show. I know that at some point I'm just going to have to put glasses on. But the glasses are harder for me to deal with up close. It's, and since I'm going to be drawing, I don't think I want glasses. So up and then back, up and then back, up and then back, up and then back. And ideally, this is what we want. So in all of these, I did it once. There we go. So there's that. Let's flip it over. Look at all this bleed in right here. Look at that. Look at everywhere where the pen bled. Isn't that funny? We can see already we've got bleed through. That's the other reason we don't want to go out and stop and then come back. These pens will bleed in. Okay, boxes. Just do boxes. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 like that. And all we're doing here is just boxes. And this is warming us up. Right? Now try doing it, lifting your hand up off the table. It makes a much looser box. Wow. So I'm realizing in Japanese, when you write a square, it's always one stroke, then it's this stroke, then it's that stroke, and that's the way you write the square. And, like when you have a kana that needs that square. And I was realizing that I now draw boxes this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's such a thing. Handwriting gets involved in this. Your handwriting will always get involved. There we go. That's a very sloppy box. Look at that box. Ugh. But sloppy is the entire point here. You really do not want to care about this piece of paper or this drawing You are literally just practicing how to move your hand in the correct way. There we go, just like this. Hi George. Good to see you, my friend. All right. Yes, 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 you're very funny. There we go. We've got a zillion boxes that we've done. On this side we did waves, and we did lines, and we did circles. Even though I didn't do 8 of each, they were still there. So, I'll bet you that's Donald out there. So, good to see you this morning. Hanging out there. Wow, I think a cat scratched me. I'm looking pointedly at you, George. Oh, man. Oh, no, it's Brent. Hello, Brent. We have a short show today. I have to run some errands that start at 11 o'clock. And so we're only going to do a few minutes here, just the warm-ups, get everybody warmed up at home. Anybody who's watching just wants to warm up their arm or warm up their hand, we can warm that up, and then we can get started on stuff. But I'm not going to actually start on anything today because we're going to head out of here in a few minutes and go do errands. I don't know why people insist on me running errands at 11 in the morning, but they do. This afternoon I'm teaching a class, so the truth is the only time I have any ability I just realized we missed a specific engagement. I'm looking at my sheet for last week. Oh no, this isn't last week's sheet. This is a previous sheet. I have these worksheets that I use for keeping myself organized and everything like that. And I love these things. They're multicolored. I made them multicolored. I designed them very nicely. And they tell me what I've got going on. Like, for example, tomorrow will be a short show as well because we've got picture day for my kid. And so, there's that. So we got picture day coming up. Let's switch back to the ring camera. So yeah, today I've got a couple of things going on, then tomorrow we've got picture day, so I'll only do 1 hour, but we can still do an hour tomorrow. Today I can't do an hour, but tomorrow we can do an hour. Thursday's back to normal, and Friday's back to normal. I'm just looking at my sheet, and my sheet tells me all kinds of great stuff. Whatever the heck is going on. Oh, yeah. Hey, you want to know what's perfect for Star Trek RPGs? These guys. The HeroClix. The HeroClix dudes are perfect. Because there's these HeroClix, and they're remarkably cheap, and they're not very expensive, but they're already set for Star Trek RPG. They're already rigged, right? You can get them in both original series and in next gen. So, you know, and yes, I have them literally on fast draw right there. But these guys end up being at 25 millimeter, or your normal 25 millimeter scale. I haven't figured out how to get them off these bases very easily. My best hope is usually to break the bottom of the circle off and then snap and just take snips and go around the outside until they come loose, and it's kind of rough, but you know, they're 25 millimeters, so they're the normal size for. They work really well. We bought a whole bunch of them for our Star Trek game, right? I mean, you know. But of course I have them because Trekkie, and I keep collecting all kinds of weird stuff that I really shouldn't. And you're right, you have a new printer. And so now we have to do the printer thing because it's kind of important. and that's like an important thing. Which, by the way, since I'm planning on getting a printer at some point relatively soon, I am actually hunting down a bunch of things. One thing I really found that I want to do now is I found I paid for it too. It's I mean I bought the STL model for it, but it's Most Piata Alpha, fully transformable, and I mean it's like a zillion little pieces, and you have to assemble them all together, and that just sounds like so much fun. So, I mean, it really does sound like fun, but I'm sure it would take like 6 trays to make it, or something. It'd be a super expensive model. Take an entire bottle of resin, but I think it's at 25 millimeter too, so it stands like this tall when it's finally done. Maybe this tall, but it'd be fully transformable, and I think that'd be so cool. So, the Alpha has always been sort of my favorite from the Robotech series, the Alpha and the Cyclone. And I mean, I love the VF1 from Macross, and my Macross love goes in a different direction, of course, because naturally Macross is different than Robotech in a lot of ways. But my love for the Most Piata Alpha. I also managed to get a beautiful STL of Voltron. Well, except that it doesn't print this big. It prints a whole bunch of little pieces this big. Because it's fully transformable and stands this tall when fully transformed, but it's going to be fingers and a palm, and then the upper arm, and then the lower arm, and then the shoulder joint, and then the intakes on either side, and then the cockpit pieces, and you've got the cockpit, and then you've got the nose, and then the little nose landing gear. And I don't think any individual piece is going to be longer than about that. The legs might be this long, maybe. You know what I mean? So I don't think any one piece is going to be too tall for the printer. That's why I said I think it'll be like 3 trays or 4 trays. Because I'm worried as well, but he did design it for the Ender 3 Photon series of resin printers. So I'm looking forward to figuring that out in my own way here at some point. It's going to be great. So I feel like that's cool, but yeah, because the whole idea, I'm getting a printer for the same reason you did. It's to print minis, right? So that's the whole point. I need to get ZBrush, because if I can get ZBrush, I could start sculpting minis. You know what I mean? I want to sculpt minis. That would be fun. I totally want to sculpt minis. That'd be the best. So, I gotta get the microphone back over here, because obviously you can hear me when my microphone's way back there. I'm making commentary. But yeah, I'm hoping to get a printer at some point here. And that'll be cool. So, there you go. Yeah, those guys are all 25 millimeter or standard sized. If I were to actually, I like working with everything in tiny mode. A case in point. Here's one of my Valkyries from my Valkyrie collection. This is a VF19, and what's the I know that this guy's but these are all Gashapon or ex-Gashapon, right? So they were in Gashapon. But I love stuff like this. This is the size I like to work in. All of my starships are that size as well. So I have one of those, those little tool chests not tool chests, but they've got these very small drawers for putting in nuts and bolts and screws and stuff like that. And I bought one of those and bolted it to my wall. and then I stick all of my little teenies in there. Like the little teeny things that are just too small, like starships, and I've got Valkyries, and even an entire tray full of just miscellaneous game chits. And I love that one. It's one of my favorites. So, and that all lives right there so that I can just get to it at any time. It even has some really rare widgets in here. Like this entire one, which is dedicated to my Space 1999 collection. And I have 4 eagles up there, including a rescue eagle, and 2 of these wasp stingers, which were kind of cool. But the eagle is still one of the most elegant spacecraft ever invented for television. I just love the eagle. It's one of the best. But those are all ex-gachapon as well. I also noticed that the eagles stack well. I'm just saying. So, you had to mute the PC. I've been sitting here chatting with you the entire time, Brent. Man. It's all good. So, we got about 7 minutes left for what I'm doing today. So that's all we got here. We'll get into drawing tomorrow. Like I said, I got an hour tomorrow. I only have 30 minutes today, but I've got an hour tomorrow. So I'm gonna do that, and then we will get into that discussion here tomorrow. In the meantime, for those of you who are at home trying to draw, which I know is at least one of you, I hope that the warm-up has led you to start drawing, and we can get going. Yeah, I know, it's kind of a bummer, but, I mean, we have a couple of conflicting issues. Anytime I need to get my kid organized to do stuff, I have to do it during his lunch hour now, which starts at, like, 11:30. So, we've got to go through the whole lunch hour thing and get this organized so that we do stuff during lunch hour. It's like, okay. Because of course, we can't help when you're part of a public school system. You have to do the public school stuff. We had to do it when we were kids, and we still have to do it now. Nothing changes. Anyway, so did you miss me talking about my Space 1999 Eagles? I love the eagle. The eagle is beautiful, right? I have a number of these little eagles. These are the best. And then even the cargo pods come out, which I think is wonderful. Because of course the eagle was such a great design. There we go. Anyway, so there we go. We're only going to do a 30-minute show today, so I don't want to get started on anything over here because this isn't going to help any. And all of this was because I forgot about something that had to be done today, and so I was supposed to call before the show, and I forgot. I had to wait for 9 o'clock to come around because they weren't open, and then I got sidetracked by my kid and totally forgot. And so now I'm going to have to call them soon to see if my 11 o'clock appointment is still set up right, and if it's not, I need to give them time to adjust for it. So we have to give time for that, which means that I've got to give them a call at about 10:30, and so there's that. I could call them while being on the show, but that seems weird. That seems like it'd be a bad idea, so I'm just not going to do that. I am excited about your printer, though, Brent. I'm excited to see what you come up with. I have seen a lot of people with printers, and I've got a lot of people I follow on Patreon and stuff like that who are making minis, and I think minis are great. But I haven't actually seen like a close-up of a face after it's been printed this high. What's the best printer for that? Because that's really what I want, right? want to be able to get little eyebrows on my little minis and stuff like that, so I can paint them in and everything like that. Because you know how it is. I love to paint the little teeny things. So I'm curious to see how your printer comes out on this one. I think a lot of people do a lot more of the, well, you know, here's what my mini looked like. Well, I appreciate that, but I can't see, you know, how detailed was the face. Did it have eyelids? You know, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, how close can we get? So, anyway, that's what we've got, and that's where we're headed at this point in time. So, I will head out of here, and I will see you tomorrow. And that's I've got a signal light up here that tells me what I need to do. So that's what's going on. If you're wondering why I keep looking up, I've got a signal light that tells me when I'm supposed to be getting off of the show. So, okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow, and we're gonna have another short show tomorrow because my kid's got to go get his picture taken. It's picture day, and I'm not exactly sure how they're going to pull that one off in COVID, but we'll find out. It'll be interesting. So, we're going to go see how that turns out, and we'll see what happens there, and that'll be great. Until then, keep your eyes on the stars, and I'll see you tomorrow, and have a great day. Bye. Oh, and good luck on printing out there, Brent. Good luck. Bye-bye.